Welcome back to Magic Stew.
Hello.
I'm Liam Duffy, and
I am Kyle Ott.
And today we're doing something a little
coffee.
bit different. Yeah, coffee. Today we're doing something a little bit different in that we are doing a draft hot seat. However, we're doing a draft hot seat for cards that we've never played because they've only just been spoiled.
Yeah.
I believe the full set's been spoiled now.
My body is ready.
We are filming this on Wednesday. We've got a week and a half until pre-release. I don't know that
September
this is
19th. For those people who would like to know what the date is. September 19th. So 2 weeks, week and a half away.
So I'm not sure really how this is going to help us in sealed for pre-release. A bit.
So
I mean, there are some differences.
We can talk about that right now, how it helps you. So card evaluation is the most common skill that you need to excel at any Magic the Gathering format. And not just because it lets you be like, oh, these are the cards that I want to pick up when the set is fully released for X format. But being able to analyze a card is kind of like a microcosm of being able to analyze a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can look at a card and say, these are all the things that this would be good at, these are all the stages of the game that this would be good at, this is what I would do with this card in this game at this stage, you're going to become a better Magic player, like over time.
Yep.
So this is an amazing skill, and I love this exercise. And actually, if I can expand on this, I want to give all of these things a limited rating and a constructed rating.
Cool.
Because I think that would be dope.
Awesome.
And uncommons do play a role in constructed. So
absolutely.
I'm thinking, let's try it.
So one of the things that we're going to be doing today is we are bringing back the 0.5 system because somebody bitched about it so much.
It's so good. We need. You need a range of expression. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
All right.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Also, I just got an email from Wizards of the Coast about
what?
Yeah, about everybody that's in.
Are they finally?
beta.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was like, are they finally giving us an Amaranthine Wall spoiler card?
They still don't know that we exist.
But
closed beta is going to be ending in Magic Arena.
Okay.
And open beta will be starting.
Yes.
As a result, we are all losing our cards. So.
That's awesome. Wizards, you've done it again. That's spectacular.
Now,
I mean, I get it. I do understand, though. They want everyone to start on equal playing field.
I'm not
probably
taking
a positive thing.
Lying down. I'm not taking this lying down. I am cutting the tops off of all of my basic lands. Multiply that by maybe 5 or 6 wizards.
Oh, got him. From a game designer standpoint, though, I can see why they would want to, because it's a bigger crowd. They want everyone to start on an even playing field. However, as a thank you to the people who did the closed beta, give us packs, give us more wild cards, a couple free drafts.
Everybody's getting 3 planeswalkers. 2 of them are from the new set.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Well, then, okay.
Yeah, and
so everyone
if
that was in the closed beta,
gems, you get the gems back also.
Oh, well, that's great then. Okay,
so,
well,
drafting.
Okay, well, that's all right. Well, then, good job with it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's tell them how we do this.
Sure. So, this is your first time on Draft Hot Seat, or a constructed hot seat, or a combination of the two, which is today. Here's how it works. We are going to look at these cards. I have never seen these cards before because they're new. They're brand new. In some cases, I might have seen a couple of them because I have been looking at the spoilers this season. I'm going to give them a rating from 1 through 5. Although actually, Liam is probably going to be helping
0
out.
through 5.
Yeah, 0 through 5. Sometimes even we hit like negative 6,000 in a couple cases. But actually, Liam's going to be helping me out this time because I haven't had the chance to play with these. So a lot of this is going to be purely discussion based.
Yeah.
We are going to roll through a couple of these and just discuss. I think we're going to give them a constructed rating and a limited rating.
We're going to try to do it quickly, but there is going to be some discussion. We might be around, I want to be around 10 minutes, but we're probably going to be closer to like 20 or so.
Yeah. We'll discuss. We'll time ourselves. This is going to be a little bit more informal than our usual Draft Hot Seats, which you can check out in the doobly-doo below. Please check them out. If you haven't looked at the most recent one for M19, you owe it to yourself to. Liam is hysterical. It's one of the best edits he's ever done.
The last one is pretty good, I gotta say.
It's really funny. I did not know Liam was going to make a certain edit in that video. I'm not going to spoil what that is, but you should watch it. It's pretty funny.
So look at the doobly-doo.
Yes, or the little description box below. I don't know why I'm gesturing as if that is the doobly-doo, I think. I don't speak YouTube. Who knows? All right, folks, let's go. All right, first card, Rampaging Monument. We have 4 mana for a artifact creature cleric, which is awesome. It's a cleric. It has trample. It says Rampaging Monument enters the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it, and whenever you cast a multicolored spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Rampaging Monument. This card's really good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Knee-jerk reaction, this is probably going to be a 4 in limited. For a number of different reasons. So it passes the vanilla test. 4 mana for a 3/3 is perfectly serviceable. 4 mana for a 3/3 with a relevant ability like Trample is great. It's colorless as a 4/4, which means you can play, or 4 mana 3/3, which means you can play it in every single deck. And it gets better per multicolored card in a set full of multicolored cards. And it's a cast trigger. Not like when a multicolored permanent enters the battlefield, which means that even if they counter your multicolored spell, this is going to get bigger.
It's beautiful.
I love it. This is a 4.
I was thinking 4.5.
4.5 is actually probably closer to it. I would imagine that with every single multicolored card in this format, Rampaging Monument is going to be an absolute beating to be up against, and I'm going to love playing with it. Yeah, 4.5 I think is actually... Maybe we're overvaluing it, because here's the thing. It does die to removal. 4 mana for a 3/3 is slow. You draw it in the late game, maybe don't have enough spells, but I'm hype. I'm hyped for it, man.
I think that
this seems really good in sealed, and really good in draft, and really good just in general.
I think that these games are going to go longer than previous ones. A good majority of the removal that's not rare has higher casting costs, with only a couple of exceptions.
Yeah.
There is some removal that's creature-based, where you have to sacrifice your creatures, but then you're losing your creature as well.
Right.
Which is fine if you're getting rid of something bigger, or or using it as a finishing touch, whatever. But I kind of feel like, looking at this set so far, I really think that these games are going to last longer than the Dominaria and M19 games did.
I would agree.
So I think that a 4-drop is not too terrible
my
at
only
all.
So my only hesitancy, and I'm still going to give it the 4.5 because I agree with everything you're saying, and I think this is going to be awesome, is I remember Return to Ravnica Limited had the same problem where games were really slow because like your removal was like a 6-drop spell like Tristani's Judgment or something like that, or Violent Impact, I think was the 6 mana 5 deal 5 spell. We need Mark's disembodied voice.
We don't have Mark with us today.
We don't have Mark with us today. He shows up for one video and then
we might have his disembodied voice. Listen for it.
Mark's disembodied voice.
Okay. But in any case, all I can think about is that there was a deck that took over the limited format that was mono 1/1s. So like, was it Trained Caracal was the 1 mana 1/1 with lifelink, and then the 1 mana 1/1 with fire breathing, and then the 2 mana 1/1 that had flying and lifelink, and people would just jam auras on those cards.
Nice.
So they'd play 14 lands or 13 lands. And a 2
just a bunch of them.
Yes.
Nice.
And they would run you over. It was hysterical. So my only hesitancy is that maybe there'll be a hyper aggro deck like that takes advantage of the decks trying to do cool things. I still have to give it a 4.5 for limited. How do you feel about Rampaging Monument in Constructed? I'm actually kind of on it. I think maybe a 3. I'm just maybe. Maybe 2.5. We'll go 2.5. That's like average.
We're losing Walking Ballista. And granted, this is no Walking Ballista. There's another card that kind of has some reminiscence. I don't recall the name, but it was spoiled recently. That's coming out in the new set.
We lose a Braid. Which takes an artifact. We lose Glorybringer, which would kill this card.
At first,
I don't know. I'm kind of on it. I think there's some potential here. I could see somebody... I could see Dev brewing around with like a weird... like red-blue Rampaging Monument
something that
deck.
just makes it huge.
Yeah, you could play... Oh god, if there's a way to double its power and toughness, I'm going to build the deck. It's just going to be Pummeler all over again. But like, I don't know, that seems reasonable as like maybe a mid-range thing. I don't know. I actually don't hate this card.
I think if the casting cost were 3, I would be more inclined to agree. I'm not saying that I disagree. I think that it would be fun to brew around and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 2.5 just because I think it has some brew potential.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't think it's going to like light the world on fire or anything like that.
We don't have anything that's doubling tokens, or sorry, not tokens, counters like Winding Constrictor did. So I mean, that would be a great enter the battlefield trigger if that were still in standard.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because then it would
come out as a
4/4,
and then get 2 every time you cast a multicolored spell. Wow. Would be amazing.
Man, yeah, that would be good. I don't know, 2.5 for me for the constructed, and then we're talking about standard. This is going to see 0 play in Legacy or Modern, but 4.5 for sure on the limited stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to play a lot of Rampaging Monuments. I'm going to play a lot of Rampaging. I'm kind of excited for it. Our next card is Selective Snare, which is X and a blue for a sorcery. It says return X target creatures of the creature type of your choice to their owner's hand. Okay, so in Constructed, holy freaking crap. Are you kidding me? Look at this card. Look at this card.
You've got Merfolk decks, you've got Knights decks. I think they're going to be Soldier decks.
Yeah.
If not, I'm making one. Seeing how it
Forget
goes,
Standard, dude. Think about Modern.
Elves.
Think about being able to be like 4 mana, return all of your humans to the battlefield against humans.
Right.
Or all of your spirits to the battlefield. I guess all of your spirits to your hand. Although that's hard because of Drog Skull Captain. But like, I don't know, man. So I mean, it's a sorcery which definitely hurts it a little bit. But I'm going to give this a 3.5 for constructed playability. I think there's enough tribal in standard, and there's enough tribal, I think, in like eternal formats like modern, that maybe this card will see some play. I mean, granted, you don't want to like bounce your opponent's like Kasig Malcontents if you're playing against humans, but being able to reset their champion of the parish, being able to reset their meddling mage if they name a card that's in your hand, like Storm gets destroyed by humans. But if they can just put in Selective Snare and then bounce all the stuff and then combo off the turn that they play it, like, that costs 1 less with Baral. I'm just saying. I actually think this is an interesting card. I'm curious as to why they printed it now, though. So either Wizards knows something that we don't, or they're printing this strictly for Type 2, or which is no longer Type 2, but they're printing it for the constructed environments where there is tribal stuff. I'm going to give it a 3.5 for constructed. I think there's some potential with Selective Snare.
And I want to go back to...
oh my god, it bounces Eldrazi.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Oh my god,
Hey,
it bounces Eldrazi.
Against your Karn decks, it bounces artifacts.
Yeah!
Well, not artifacts.
Golems, or
but
constructs.
Yeah,
Constructs.
Exactly.
Oh my god. Okay. See, this is the thing. This is the more I think about Selective Snare, I don't think it's going to be good for Limited. Now that I think about this, though, this is actually higher than a 1.5. This is probably a 2.5.
I think that the problem with it that makes it not a 2.5 like you're thinking is the fact that it's creature types.
No, but here's the thing. So baseline, right? You're paying 2 mana to return something to your opponent's hand.
Okay.
That's playable. I return your...
Yeah, I guess if you're not looking at a bigger picture, like how broad can I make this work?
Right, yeah. I mean, this is a sledgehammer if it becomes available, and a scalpel most of the time. I return your Rampaging Monument to your hand. I declare that my creature type is Cleric.
Right.
And return it to your hand. I mean, now, you're not always going to be happy paying 2 mana for a sorcery speed bounce effect, but you can do that. You can maybe use this to reset your own Enter the Battlefield triggers. I don't know. I think I'm going to move it up to a 2.5, actually. Now that I'm looking at this again, I think this is... Again, it's going to be way better in Constructed, I think. But I think the 2.5 is reasonable.
Okay.
Just because I'm thinking, maybe you could reset your stuff. Or, Surveil. You want to bounce some of your Dimir creatures that Surveil.
True.
You could bounce some of the creatures in the Selesnya Conclave that make tokens. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to...
That's a good point. If you're bouncing your own creatures to receive Enter the Battlefield effects.
Right.
That's
if this was
reasonable.
an instant, it would be a 3. Easy.
Yeah.
Because you could bounce it in response to combat tricks, you could bounce your own guys, you could bounce your stuff at the end of turn. It's a sorcery, though, so 2.5, I think. But again, constructed, I don't know. This seems cool. Seems cool. Ready to move on to the next one? Alright. Conclave Tribunal is our next one. So 4 mana from an enchantment. It is 3 colorless, 1 white. For an enchantment with Convoke, which for those of you who have never played Convoke, it's a mechanic from the original Ravnica block, which brings a big ol' smile to my face. So your creatures can help cast this card. Each creature you tap while casting this spell pays 1 for 1 mana of that creature's color, which is awesome. So remember, it's not colorless. If you're tapping with green creatures, they're making green mana. Red creatures make red mana. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, it's awesome. When Conclave Tribunal enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls. Oh, I love it. I love it. First things first. This is a 4.5 unlimited. I'm going to brush through this again, the limited aspect. I know that it's cool, but I want to talk about this for constructed because I think it's also a 4 for constructed. Here's the deal. Being able to exile something is huge. Being able to hit any non-land permanent is huge because this means if your opponent has a powerful enchantment or artifact, you don't need specific removal for that. It hits creatures, it hits planeswalkers, it hits your next door neighbor who you keep stealing your mail. Yes, Conclave Tribunal is really good. It gets a 4.5 in limited and a 4 in constructed. Here's my thing, okay? I've been reading a lot about Modern because I like Modern as a format. Humans struggles because it has not great mana to cast removal spells with, right? Like, a lot of times in Humans, you're sitting there with an Ancient Ziggurat and an Unclaimed Territory, and that's 2 mana is more than enough because it taps for any color to make all of your guys, for Cavern of Souls or whatever you want to say, right? So you've got 3 mana that only taps for colors for your humans. But now, the majority of your humans are white.
Right.
Which means that humans, in Modern,
So now you've got removal for your
potentially
humans.
has access to an Oblivion Ring style effect that they can cheat out. That's awesome. I don't know why I made a bird sound for that, but that's so exciting. Also in Standard, this is just going to be ridiculous. It's going to hit Teferi, it's going to hit Ajani, it's going to hit your big creatures, it's going to hit everything. I think in Standard but I'm just thinking, like, for those, like, Modern, like, White Weenie or, like, White-Black Tokens now has a way to cheat out removal. I don't know, maybe. I'm spitballing. I'm just spitballing here. I like it. I like Conclave Tribunal a lot. I also love that art. Seb McKinnon. Of course it's Seb McKinnon. Of course it's old Sebby. He makes good art. Thoughts, Liam? Or am I... Sorry, I mean, I feel like
you're
popped
dead
off
on
there
with that one.
with Conclave.
And I think that's going to be an even more important card in Sealed because of the fact that all of the other removal, like I was saying earlier, is either more expensive or it's rare, with very few exceptions.
This is so high quality. I think I'm going to be first picking a lot of Conclave Tribunals. God, that card is really good. Also, can we please reprint Oblivion Ring? I miss Oblivion Ring. God, I miss Oblivion Ring. You played with that card? It was just...
I've never played
it's
it.
3 mana enchantment with the same effect.
Yeah.
Flat 3 mana. Oh boy. It's real good. Alright, next one. Thought Erasure. This is 2 mana, so 1 blue, 1 black for a sorcery. It says target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Surveil 1. Limited, this is going to get a 1. In Draft, this gets a 1. In Sealed, it's probably a 2. Because Sealed generally is a lot slower. I have zero interest in paying... First off, discard effects are usually really bad in Draft. Unless they're attached to a creature like Ravenous Rats, or they're just straight up Thoughtseize. And even Thoughtseize wasn't really good in the draft formats that I've played it in. Like, I've drafted Theros a bunch of times and gotten Thoughtseizes, and I'm like, this is never going to make my main deck, even if I'm in black. Most of the time, unless I'm afraid that my opponent has some ridiculous bomb that I can't deal with.
Right.
So if your opponent has a ridiculous bomb, this is a fine sideboard card, I think, but... I'm not impressed with this for limited. What are your thoughts for constructed on this though? Because I feel like there's something there with Thought Erasure. I feel like there is. Because you're paying 1 extra mana for a Thoughtseize style effect.
Right, and you get to surveil, so you're actually in both formats. You're setting your draw a little bit.
Yeah,
but
and it does share color with Gurmag Angler and Tassiger for Modern.
Right.
I'm thinking of like. Maybe, and it would put 2 cards in the graveyard. Enable that Gurmag Angler a little bit, maybe.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm thinking.
I don't know.
I'm thinking Standard because my Modern experience is not great. I have very limited Modern experience.
Skadooch. You have limited Modern experience? Come on, I thought you tried that. I thought it was funny. I don't know. For Standard, I think it's fine. I think Blue-Black Control...
I don't know, because I'm not sure that Control is going to... I'm not sure what Control is going to look like. It's losing a lot right now.
It loses Scarab God, Glimmer of Genius, Hieroglyphic
Gear Hulk.
Illumination, Torrential Gear Hulk, Fatal Push, Gifted Aetherborn.
It's losing a ton of stuff.
Siphon Strike.
What's the dude? What kind of thing that the snake
Essence
dude that
thing? Glint Sleeve Siphoner.
That goes away.
Losing. Gifted
What's
Aetherborn.
the-
I already said Gifted Aetherborn. Gonti.
What's the 2/1
Gonti, Scarab
with
God.
the 2/1 with recursion that allows you to draw 2 cards and then discard?
Oh, Champion of Wits.
Yes, it's losing that.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious about what Control
Man,
is going to look like.
What a cluster, yeah.
So I'm not sure. I honestly, I don't really want to pass judgment on this card simply because of the fact that I really don't know what's coming.
I'm going to give it a 1.5 for limited. a 2 for sealed and a 2 for constructed. I'll give it a 2. I don't know if people are going to be playing it. I don't know if it's very good. I don't even know if Surveil is going to be that good attached to this. Maybe if this was Surveil 2, because the difference between being looking at the top 2 cards of your library as opposed to the top 1 is pretty like statistically viable.
Right.
If it was a 2 Surveil, it would be playable and limited. I get to scry 2 and I get card advantage. I mean, even then it probably still wouldn't be great. I think it just an aggregate score of 2 across the board, I think is fine.
That's fair.
Yeah. After the massive hit that was Conclave Tribunal, I'm not super hyped about Thought Eraser. I like her robe though. I can't tell if her thoughts are being erased or if she's erasing someone's thoughts or about to erase somebody's thoughts. Let us know in the comments. Let us know. Take a look at her. I don't know what she's doing. She kind of looks like Raven from Teen Titans. Okay. Oh wow. Status and statue. Just target creature gets +1/+1 and gains death touch till end of turn.
That's for instant, 1 green or black mana.
A nice hybrid mana symbol. And statue, which is destroy target artifact, creature, or enchantment.
That's for 2 colorless, a black and a green.
Bruh!
That's a great card.
Man, that's a 4.
Card.
That's an easy 4.
Yeah.
Boy.
You've got a
viable combat trick.
combat trick.
I don't know if it's great, but it's viable.
I feel like it is, because if you got nothing but weenies out there and somebody comes in with their big stompy dude.
Okay, but then you've 2 for 1 yourself.
Yeah, but you got rid of their biggest threat.
Yes, but you've 2 for 1 yourself. In limited, it is card advantage or bust. That's why Skyscanner is the poster child for M19.
Gotcha. Understand. Okay.
But here's the thing though, like, think of the flexibility. If your 1/1 is going up against their 1/1, or your 2/2 is going up against their 2/2, I mean, and yes, you can do that, of course, to hit their fatty, but most of the time you won't want to. You'll still trade this up. Like, if you're mana screwed, and they're coming in with a bunch of 2/2s, and you block with your 3/3, or I'm sorry, if they swing in with a bunch of 2/2s, you block with your 2/2, you pump this, you've traded 1 for 1, and you couldn't have made use of the better half of the card anyway, which is awesome. So it gives you that flexibility. You can punch through with that extra damage. Sometimes the death touch is going to be relevant, but oh my god, it hits everything except for planeswalkers.
The second part of that card is beautiful.
Busted. Oh god, I love it. It's like you combine Mortify and Putrefy, which were 2 cards in the original Ravnica block, into 1 card. Oh baby. Oh baby. I love it. I miss that you can't entwine stuff anymore though. You have to pick which half you want to cast. You can't cast both of them, which I always hated about the original double-sided cards. And then in Dragon's Maze, they printed double-face cards that you could entwine. And that was way better, because you could entwine them.
Right.
But I still get it a 4. I think it's a 4 both in Constructed and in Limited. This is really relevant removal. It hits everything but Planeswalkers. It's instant speed. You will sometimes make use of the combat trick. I think I'm going to use Status to dodge removal more than I am to do anything else.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Are you cool 4 all around on that one?
Yeah.
On status and
Absolutely.
statue?
I think it's a really good card.
I'm high on it. It's pretty good. Necrotic Wound is our next one. 1 black for an instant with Undergrowth, which is target creature gets -X till end of turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. God, this card is bad.
Yeah. I'm thinking like 0.5 or 1.
I don't think it's that bad. 1.5. So in limited, it's probably a 2.
You're relying on having a bunch of dead creatures.
Yeah. In limited, it's probably still a 2. It's not actually removal. You treat it more like a combat trick.
Right. No, I get that, but you're still relying on having a bunch of dead creatures.
But
you've got a dead card in your hand if you don't have stuff in the graveyard.
But eventually, it's relevant, which is why it gets a 2, because there are going to be situations where this is not relevant at all, and there would be situations where this is an absolute blowout. But 90% of the time, you're going to give something -2/-2 for 1 mana at instant speed.
Right.
So it's a 2. It's a combat trick. It's like a bad combat trick in limited. And then
in Constructed, I think that with the right deck builds, it's better than Fatal Push. With the right deck builds, I say, because you've got to have something that is utilizing your graveyard in order to make that really good.
No, because then you've built your whole deck just to make Necrotic Wound decent.
Well, not just that, but I mean,
I guess if you're building a surveil deck and it's added on.
a Surveil or Undergrowth, something
Yeah.
that utilizes your whole deck basically has to thematically work with those abilities.
But then, yeah, but I just feel like you've then built a thematic. I mean, I'm sure there's other
it
synergies.
really depends on what else is.
Yeah, but I'm just sitting here thinking to
Okay.
myself that like this is so bad. It doesn't even hit creatures. If this was like deal X damage to any target and gain X life, that'd be awesome. But this is like a strictly worse version of a common that was printed the last time we were in Ravnica, because it was an enchantment that had the same effect. So you could just stick it on a creature with on turn one, and then as you milled yourself or as combat happened, you could make it better. Like,
Right.
I get that it's instant speed, but it's only going to hit creatures, which means it's going to do nothing against the Nexus of Fate decks. So
Right.
you've wasted mainborn slots.
And they
in that.
did get their next fog.
They
so
did.
It's still a relevant deck.
Yeah, I give it a 1 in constructed. I don't think Necrotic Wound will ever see play.
That's fair.
Maybe in Modern, where you can, but even then, there's better options because
You mean
Fatal
like,
Push is Eternal in Modern, and Path is Eternal in Modern, and Abrupt. No, forget it. Necrotic Wound gets a 1. I'm trying real hard for Necrotic Wound.
Yeah.
I don't know why I am. Okay, next card. Boros Challenger, 1 red, 1 white for a 2/3 human soldier with Mentor, which is a new ability for this set. So it says whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power. And for 4 mana, so 2 colorless, 1 red, 1 white, Boros Challenger gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This is great.
Yeah.
This is a 3.5 in limited. It's not an outright bomb, but it's definitely above average. So you're paying 2 mana for a 2/3, so it passes the vanilla test. I think Mentor is a really relevant ability. In the late game, it's going to get stronger, which means it can mentor more.
Yep. It's a good mana save.
Yeah. 3.5. I'm going to quote Ben Stark here. The best 2-drops are good no matter what stage of the game that you draw them in. This is a 2-drop that's good at every stage of the game. I'm also going to give it a 3.5 for constructed. I think red-white's going to be an aggro deck.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're right.
Yeah. Because we didn't lose Path of Metal.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of stuff with haste. And there's plenty of stuff with other relevant abilities. And there's a ton of red-white cards in the set. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think we'll see a red-white deck in this format. I feel it.
I agree.
Yep. 3.5 all around.
I think so, yeah.
On Boros Challenger, I'm going to... Well, I can't wait to jam a bunch of those bad boys. Oh my god. This card, the next one, I am actually really excited for. Which is Murmuring Mystic, which is 4 mana, so 3 colorless and 1 blue, for a 1/5 human wizard. And it says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 blue bird illusion creature token with flying. Oh boy. Oh boy. Where to even begin with this? I think this is a 3.5 as well. In limited. I think 4 mana for a 1/5 is not the greatest blocking, is not the greatest body type, but you're still getting 6 points of power and toughness spread across those 2 stats, which is fine. It's a great blocker. But also, every instant and sorcery that you cast makes a 1/1 creature, which would have been okay, but it's a 1/1 creature with evasion, which is sweet. Yeah, that's a 3.5. I think, like, if you cast it, like, if you've got 1 or 2 of these guys and, like, 4 or 5 instants in your deck, or sorceries in your deck, I mean, good luck to your opponent. Like, you've made... Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, it's going to block effectively. It basically is blue-white skies, the archetype enabler.
Yeah.
And that's, like, my favorite deck to draft limited.
And what makes that even better in constructed...
Yes.
Maybe, if this can be...
It's a wizard!
It's a wizard. Okay, yeah, you got wizards.
It's a wizard!
So it's going to be great in that deck, okay?
Oh.
And if you're really brave, you could use the enchantment that gives all your
Oh my God.
flyers +1/+1. But also,
God, it's a wizard.
in blue and white, there's an enchantment that every time you put down a token, it becomes a 4/4 angel.
Yes, I was just about to say that. So there could be a blue-white tokens deck. So there is a wizards deck right now in Standard. We did touch on that. One of the things that I have been thinking as I played the deck is it's really, really good when it goes off.
Yes.
When you kill your opponent on turn 4 because Adeliz makes all of your 2/2s into like 9/9s. Out of freaking nowhere, you just dome them for 36, which is awesome. But the times that it doesn't go out, you're really, really bad. But like you put 4 Murmuring Mystics in that deck with all of those opts and all of those Warlord's Furies. Maybe there is room for a slower blue-red sort of controlling deck. Maybe. I'm just thinking out loud because we've got a ton of, like, is it stuff that is more controlling than aggressive? At least from what I've seen from the spoilers and what I can guess. I mean, obviously we don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 Ravnica sets, so we might get more Izzet cards there because that happens, you know. They'll focus on guilds, but we'll get some bleed over cards because that happens every Ravnica set. Like, but I'm just thinking to myself, maybe there is a slower wizard deck that Murmuring Mystic can be a part of because that's some real value. Like casting opt, Wizard's Lightning, Wizard's Retort, and make 4 guys. That's a real strategy. That's a real thing. I don't know. I'm interested. I'm going to give it a 3 for constructed and a 3.5 for limited. I think it's strong.
Sounds good.
Okay, moving forward, we have Sun Home Stalwart, which is 2 mana for a 2/2 with First Strike and Mentor. This card is another 3.5 in limited and probably a 3 in constructed, I would think. Maybe a little lower, maybe like a 2.5 in constructed. It's really good in limited. I mean, you're already getting a 2 mana 2/2, which passes the vanilla test. Stay with me, everybody. It also has Mentor and First Strike, so relevant abilities, which are great. It's going to pump up any 1/1s that you make. So if you attack with this and one of your wizard blue bird tokens you made from Murmuring Mystic, you made it into a 2/2. I don't know. I mean, it's good and limited. There's not a whole lot to say about that. Constructed, again, I think it's just going to be a beater in the red-white deck.
It's almost a soldier version of the Knight from Dominaria. Almost. It doesn't get hexproof from black, and it doesn't get, you know, +1/+0 for having a black card on the board. But the trade-off is Mentor.
Yeah. And I don't know if that makes it better than that card, to be honest.
I'm not saying better. I'm saying there are similarities
Knight of
there.
Grace, I think, is probably still going to be a better 2-drop than Sunhome Stalwart. But I'm still going to give it a 3 tentatively in constructed just because I feel like there is going to be a red-white deck that's going to want this card. Because they're going to make a ton of tokens off that goblin. So if you have 2 Mentor creatures and you make 2 1/1s, you can mentor both of them with these guys.
Right.
And that's not very hard to put together. So I don't know. We'll see. The standard. I don't think this will see any play in any other Eternal formats. Other than that.
Right. Yeah.
So far, of all the cards that could see play in Eternal formats, Selective Snare, Conclave Tribunal, and maybe Status to Statue are the only ones that I can think of that would. But moving forward to our last card, because we need to keep moving forward, we got Flower and Flourish, which is another one of those split cards. So I'm going to just cock my head to the side. Apologies, everybody. I know I look weird. Flower is a hybrid mana symbol, so 1 green, 1 white for a 1 mana sorcery. It says search your library for a basic forest or plains card. Reveal it and put it into your libraries. And then Flourish is 6 mana, so 4 colorless, 1 green, 1 white. For creatures you control, get +2/+2 until end of turn. Dang it, this could have been so good. Why didn't you just say forest or plains and put it into your hand? Then you could tutor for shocklands. Very disappointed in that one. Will this see play in limited? Yeah, just because neither one of these cards are very good in limited. Flower or Flourish, I wouldn't play either one of them if they were on their own. As a package, I think it's a 2.5. I think it's average. Sometimes you'll need it to tutor up your mana. Sometimes you'll use Flourish to pump your entire team. But the pump is overpriced and underpowered.
It is.
I think these 1 mana cantrip effects where you go fetch a land are pretty bad. I think they were bad in limited.
I don't know. Adventurous Impulse is getting play.
In standard.
Yeah.
But it also lets you grab a creature.
Yeah.
And it also lets you dig through a bunch of cards to do it. And this doesn't get shocklands.
Yeah.
Why do you not get shocklands, Flower? God, you make me sad. I mean, I guess Farseek is safe in modern, but because this would replace Farseek if this was in modern, because you could just grab, your Overgrown Tomb or your Stomping Grounds, whatever. In constructed, so obviously I don't think this is going to see any Eternal format play. Maybe it will. I mean, 1 mana spells, you never know. There's always a market for a 1 mana spell of some kind. But I think in standard, I'm going to give it a 3. Because we could be seeing like tri-colored decks, shocklands plus checklands. And to me, this is always really important, right? So this is the first time in Magic history, to my knowledge, that we've had the checklands, the one that's like enter the battlefield untapped unless you control this type of land, and the shocklands together, right? Like,
I'm not sure.
Hinterland Harbor enters the battlefield untapped if you have a copy of Steam Vents.
Yeah,
Right. So 3-color decks, I think, could be really easy to make happen.
absolutely.
So maybe Flower is decent just because you want to grab that extra 1 mana. Maybe if this could grab Guildgates, it would be better. But it doesn't grab Shocklands. I don't know. Disappointment to balance that last one. I was really hoping it would be like, I thought originally when I read it, it got any basic forest or plains, and I was all about it, man. I was like, this is the truth. I was gonna be so excited. But in any case, that's it, folks. We got 10 cards from the new Ravnica set. Hopefully you all have enjoyed this little analysis. Hopefully you like the new 0.5 system. Hopefully, not new, the return 0.5 system. Let us know what you think are some good constructed cards. Were we way off the mark? Were we not off the mark? His disembodied voice isn't here. Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all the good YouTube stuff.
As
Anything
always,
else?
thanks for watching.
Cheers.